It's your boy, U-Goboy. That's Mongo, all right? This is the U-Goboy podcast channel. But before we start, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We got unfiltered, authentic conversations. We got sports talk. We got drops. Oh, yeah. So, Mongo, what should they do?
Like and subscribe.
Oh, yeah. Yahtzee. The wide receiver talk is getting interesting, too, and the running back talk as well. Like, let's just bank on those other two positions. You know, I believe that let me get your take on this, Mongo, and you know, I'll give mine as well. I obviously think that this is one of the deepest running back classes ever. Not in the last 10 years, not in the last 25 years, whatever Mel Kiper wants to say, or Mike Mayock, wherever the hell he is. He's not a GM anymore. You know, this is an amazing stacked running back class. I don't think that's the case for this wide receiver class, but what I will say this about this wide receiver class, it's a lot better than people are giving credit for. They're saying that like, oh, there's maybe like one or two. Like, no, there's about 5 to 10 guys that I'm rubbing my hands like Birdman. I'm just like, get me that guy to be my number 2. You know, obviously, Ted McMillan, we talked about him on the last episode. Golden, I love me some Trey Harris from Ole Miss. He's like a baby AJ Brown. Jaden Higgins from Iowa State. Tez Johnson, I know he's a shorter guy from Oregon, but shifty. You know, short guys get open in the NFL. You know what I mean? Noel, too, another short, shifty guy, also from Iowa State. And, of course, Abuka, who I love. He's Nigerian, you know, so there's bias there. Abuka is the prototypical. You look up number 2 receiver in Urban Dictionary, Abuka's just there. He's just there. He's always been the number 2. There's always been a wide receiver at Ohio State better than him, and he's okay with that. He's okay with that. You know, if you mean to tell me that before we get to our respective teams, but you mean to tell me I put my GM hat on and I'm either insert Stephen Jones, Will McClay, or Jerry Jones. You know, we like to share titles in Dallas. If I'm either one of them, and you mean to tell me that Abuka is available via a trade back, say we get wiped out and the guys we really like, say Golden's off the board, say Tet's off the board, I'm perfectly fine trading back 4 to 5 spots, getting Abuka and getting an extra pick. I'm okay with that. I'm fine with that because Abuka's going to walk in and be like, oh, CD, you're better than me. Okay, all right. I'll just play for 10 to 15 years and give you buku production, you know, out of the slot and wherever else you need me. So I like this wide receiver class a lot more than most of the experts do. How do you feel about it before we get to the running back and in terms of the running backs as well?
Yeah, I'm with you in the sense that I think it's being treated unfairly for a couple reasons. One, very lost in because we live in a fantasy football world where, you know, tight ends naturally don't have value. It's a really special tight end class.
Agreed.
And so if I'm sitting there and, you know, those couple top receivers are off the board, I just need playmakers, I might be saying, hey, let's load up my tight end list instead. You know, and some wide receivers might fall because of that. The other thing is you have a couple major question marks on like day 2, early day 3 of this draft that normally you're like, the number 1 guy from UTSA, yeah, he's you know, he's going to go in the 4th round. The number 1 guy from Georgia State's going to go in the 6th. But a couple of these mid-round guys could make a difference in how deep this receiving class ends up looking. You know, for example, you mentioned, you know, Higgins. To me, whichever Iowa State guy goes second is going to be seen as a steal in this draft. You know, if Noel goes before Higgins versus after, we're going to look back at this receiving class differently. What the heck happens with Isaiah Bond is going to go a long way.
Right.
You know, he can now go anywhere, and that could totally change this class. So there are a couple really unique late day 2, early day 3 storylines with this wide receiver class that I think are also a big reason why no one can quite give it the same seal of approval as we do with the running back or the tight end class here.
Agreed. And, you know, I know he's listed as a tight end, but add Tyler Warren into that as well. Like, goodness gracious. Like, it's like Gronk and Kelsey and freaking Tony Gonzalez all just got blended into a hyperbolic time chamber pot. And then boom, there goes Tyler Warren. Goodness gracious, man. He does it all. He just does it all. And I don't view him as a tight end. I view him exactly how we viewed him at Penn State. He was just a weapon. He's a weapon who happened to play tight end. So somebody's going to get themselves a gem. He's not getting out the top 15.
I already I already bought the Tyler Warren Jet jersey that I look forward to burning in disappointment on Jet night, on draft night. But no, listen. You gave a little Dallas spoiler. I'll give a little Jet spoiler. There's only one option to me. I mean, this kid is special, but it goes back to what I was saying, right? I'm looking at Warren ahead of almost, maybe put him in the wide receiver list too.
Yeah.
I mean, so that's going to drop every wide receiver down.
Yeah. Honestly, it's gonna be like a pick your flavor of ice cream. Me and you, we love ourselves some ice creams, good old fashioned American ice cream. I mean, so it's just like, it's what's your flavor. Do you want the big X receiver? We got that. We got Tevin Millen, we got Higgins, we got Savion Williams. He can't really run routes, but he's a weapon. The guy was a running back over at TCU. I mean, you want the shifty slot guys to always get open. I mean, you have Golden, and you've got Tez Johnson, and you've got Noel, and you've got so many guys that are that Luther Burden. We didn't even say his name, because he's been, and I did a deep dive on why Luther Burden is getting so much hate. He's being labeled as not a practice workout warrior, which is the pseudonym for doesn't love football. Now, I don't even know what the hell that means. All I know is when I turn on the tape for Missouri, he looks like Deebo Samuel, but can run routes, can actually run routes. That's what I see. Deebo, even at South Carolina, Deebo was not running routes. He was just get the ball, yak boy, get the ball, yak boy. And he was a bowling ball, just a weapon, as we mentioned with Tyler Warren. What I see with Luther Burden, I see a guy that is very similar to Deebo. I see a faster version of Deebo, definitely not as explosive and as powerful, but definitely a yak boy, faster. And I think he can run better. He can run routes, and I run routes better. I see him as a first-round talent, even though he's being slid to the second by Mel Kiper and everybody else under the sun. I see him as a first-round receiver. That's just me.
Yeah, my thing with Burden, and we're very in sync on this draft. We're gonna have a good time on draft night because we'll be able to trash a lot of the NFL. But I mean, listen, they're making the kick return even more dangerous to take a touchback, right? So special teams players are going to get more involved, which means if you have a guy who you want to be a route runner, but also on special teams, that's increased danger, right? More odds that guy can get hurt. And then if this is somebody who can be a gadget player like how Samuel's used, well, right, it's a copycat league. And when you see Detroit using offensive tackles as gadget players, a player's gadget ability, I'll make up a word there, is suddenly way less valuable. So, I get the arguments why a GM would look at Burden and say, the skills he has are trending downward, and that's dumb. I'm sorry. The boy, right? Use your eyes. The boy can play.
It's your boy, U-Goboy. And my friends at New York Posse, they're going to hook you up with some official gear. The Knicks are hotter than ever, and they're going to get you right with some official snapbacks, beanies, official gear, official like tissue, baby. Hit that promo code below, 2024. Get 20% off on all New York Posse gear. Hit the link below, and they're going to get you right. It's your boy, U-Goboy. Yahtzee.